Today I'm going to give you 3 different ways to give estimates for professional window cleaning service, and I will start with what's maybe my least favorite and then end with the way that I use right now today. Now with all 3 of these models, you can use a bidding software like Responsibid, which I use. I guarantee I'll leave a link in the description for you. It literally changed my life, allowing people to go online and book an appointment for themselves, or hiring a call service or a VA, and they can go online and book on behalf of the customer who's on the phone with them. So you create some basic questions, get the information that you need, and then you have prices for them to pick different packages. So having said that, I'll give you the 2 primary packages that I use. One is my full service package, which includes the entirety of the window, interior and exterior glass, the frames, the tracks, the windowsills, and last but not least, the screens. The other package that's common is my outside only. Now, I charge the same price regardless for outside only, whether they have screens or not. If they make a fuss about it, I'll give them like a $25 discount to not clean the screens if they don't have any. But if they do have screens, I always want to clean them. I don't want people trying to cheap out and say, oh, I'll have my windows cleaned, but I don't want to pay for the screens. That's bad because the screens can be very dirty. They can be covered with dirt or pollen. And then it rains and that dirt or pollen splatters onto the glass. And so I have a rain guarantee. I say if they get splatters or spots on the glass from a rainfall, that I'll come back and touch it up for free within 7 days. And really, when I'm trying to get them into the appointment, I'll even stretch it out to 14 days if I need to, just so that they have peace of mind. But that's another conversation for another day. Now, I charge by the square foot, like I said, but if you're charging by the window, which you can do, I used to do, that was the main way that I did it for years. By window, I am around the ballpark of $15 to $20 per window. And so basically, if it's a smaller house with less windows, I'm going to be on the top price of $20 per window. 10 windows, in and out, $200. Now, I also have a trip minimum. For my full service, my trip minimum is $249 no matter the size of the house. So I automatically bump it up from that $200 for the 10 windows up to the $249. Now, if it's more windows, let's say it's a larger home, 5,000 square foot home with 40 windows on it, I might go on the lower end of that just to keep competitive with pricing, because there's a lot of guys who will work for peanuts. I still like to be priced above them, but I don't want it to be like I'm twice as much as them. Although that's happened and I've still won the bid. So have confidence. That's a side tip bonus for you. So per window, I'm at $15 to $20 per window for everything. Now, per window, doing the outside only, I charge between $8 and $10 per window. So again, if it's a smaller house, I'm still going to have that minimum, but I'll start at that $8 per window. Now, if they're extremely dirty, I might push up the price to $10, even for a smaller home. But if it's a large home and I've maintained it and it's in good shape, I might stick with that $8. If it's the first time clean, I'm going to be closer to that $10. So really, you could say I charge $10 per window for exterior. And I always include the screens with that. Now, the second model is per pane. I like the per pane better than per window. Why, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. If you charge per window and a customer calls you and they want a price instantly over the phone, and they're not going to book with you if they don't get an answer right now, because they'll call somebody else and somebody else will give them an answer right now and they'll book with them because it's convenient. Don't lose those. Have a price. So you rely on them to go and count the exterior windows. Usually they're sitting in their living room and they say, let's see, there's the garage. Well, they don't even think about the garage, actually. This is a key tip. They'll think about, I have the living room here, 1, 2, 3. I got 2 windows in my room, 1 in the bathroom. And they start adding up just from their mind. Sometimes they're not even in their house and they're doing this. So inevitably, they're going to miss a bathroom or two bathroom windows and a garage window or two garage windows. And they're always going to be a little short of what they actually have. And then they'll have some windows where, they look at it and they say, okay, there's a window right there in my living room. And then you get there and you find out there's 3 double hung windows all in one window frame with one other big window over top of it. So you'd count it as 4 windows, but they counted it as 1. So you get there and you have to be like, look, it's going to cost you an extra $100 because there's more windows than we anticipated. And they're going to be shocked and they're going to be upset and they're not going to like the feeling. They're going to go through with the appointment because they'll feel rude and they don't want to have to reschedule or cancel on you in that moment. But then they're not going to want to do business with you again because they'll feel ripped off. So avoid that situation. The way you avoid that is pricing per pane or per square foot. The per pane is much safer. It can be a little more tedious. Sometimes you'll be tempted to ask how many screens they have, and then they're not going to know that. They're always going to skip the screens. You'll have the same issue, but it is still more simple. So per pane, I am at the price of $8 to $10 per pane for both in and out, for the full service, or about $5 per pane for exterior only. So, or 5 per pane per side. So 1 double hung window, 2 sides, 2 panes. That's $20 for in and out, or $10 for just the outside. So that's the second model, price per pane. It's more foolproof. People are less likely to miss something. And by the way, if you're having them count windows for you, it's helpful if you have them count from the outside, just one lap around their building. And if you're doing a quote, a lot of times they're going to ask you to come inside and look at everything. You don't need to see inside, other than if there's any place where it's going to be hard to get in there, or really high windows, but you don't need to count them from the inside. Count them from the outside, do a walk around, and then you won't miss any windows. There might be a room that they have kind of sectioned off that they don't go in there all the time, and so they don't think about it, and you might not see it. You won't miss it if you count from the outside. So now the third model, my favorite model right now, where I'm at, is square feet. I asked them, how many square foot is their home? Out here in North Texas, everybody knows that because they just bought their home within the past 5 years. They moved here from California or somewhere else in Texas, and they remember what it is. If they don't remember what it is, you can look it up on Zillow or one of these other realtor.com type things, and they have all the property information and is very accurate. And so I can take that number, and for my full service price, I multiply by 13 cents per square foot. So a 2,000 square foot home, 13 cents per square foot, that's $260. Easy multiplication. If they have hard water stains, I simply multiply it by 0.2, and it makes it 1.2, and that makes it 120% of the price. So it raises the price 20% overall, and I'm not going to lose money. I can add a discount to it the next time, or kind of just adjust the quote after I clean the hard water stains, or if there's significant hazing, or if there's French panes, or French panes or mullions or sun dividers, however you want to call it, something that makes it take longer and more tedious. I just multiply it by a factor based on their answer to that question, and it's all embedded in the responsive bidding software. So it makes it really simple, really foolproof. People are able to get a price within a minute. And if I'm just over the phone and they need a price instantly, I ask them how many square feet. Bam, I got it. With the bidding software, it gives them an email that gives them kind of a caveat. The price might have to be adjusted when we get there. It might be a little bit more. We're basing this price based off of what we understand of the scope of the job, but it's subject to change. We'll confirm the price when we're there. Now, do I ever adjust the price? Rarely. On occasion, if they have significant paint splatters or like deeply embedded hard water stains, I'll bring it to their attention and say, like, this is something that's going to take a little bit more time. I can just do a once over and it won't clean it all the way, but I won't have to raise the price and it will be cleaner. Or I can go ahead and get the chemicals out of the truck and do a deeper clean here with chemicals as needed, and this will be the price. I try to avoid that with any time I can avoid it, I do. I'd rather suck up the cost, but if I can get the price up front to be the price that I follow with, I'd rather charge more for the first one and then give them a discount further down the road. And that's a tip too, pro tip. In order to get them to book again within a short amount of time, whether 3 months, 6 months, or a year, I'll have different discounts. Sometimes it'll be a slow season, and so I'll say, hey, anybody who gets a full service window cleaning, we cleaned you 6 months ago, but we're doing a promotion right now. I'll give you $50 off if you book in the month of July. It's more effective that way. And I know I have the margin built in because the first time I clean their windows will be the hardest time. Once I've gotten all that debris out of the way, any hard water stains, any of that just sludge that can build up, all the mud that gets in the tracks, I know the next time is going to be easier and therefore will happen faster, so I can still get my hourly rate and not lose money. Now, those are the 3 pricing models, but one of the things you need to do before you just commit yourself to that price is every time you go to a job, make sure you remember, mark down what time you get there and what time you finish, how long it took you, including setup and cleanup. You can kind of remove those times. You can calculate how long it takes you to set up, calculate how long it takes you to clean everything. How much time does it take you to clean one window? Get as you're progressing, as you're getting faster, keep in your mind how long it takes you. It doesn't hurt every once in a while. You don't have to do it on every job, but time yourself, and that helps you kind of break down the overall package. And then you can come up with your own trip minimums. You can come up with your package options. Is helpful data to have going forward. And also for scheduling an appointment, how long is it going to take you? You need to know that if you're going to have automated scheduling happening. Or even if you just want to schedule it yourself and you need to know, how long do I need to set aside? If you set aside 8 hours, a whole day to clean a 3,000 square foot home, and you find out you finish it in 3 hours, now you have 5 hours where you could have been working, but instead you're not because you blocked off too much time. Likewise, you schedule a 4,000 square foot home and you gave yourself 3 hours and then you have another job after that. Now you're going to be having a hard time you're not going to make it on time to the next job. So start calculating those things out now. As you're progressing in your skill, you will become more efficient and therefore faster, and your hourly rate will go up. I'll say currently my hourly rate for a first time clean, I'm at around $100 an hour. I soak up a lot of the cost on that first one, but I'm also more expensive than almost any other window cleaners in my area. Honestly, I just outbid 2 other window cleaners on a new home. Customer was moving in and they needed it done fast. I told them $525. It's almost 4,000 square foot home. And they had 2 other bids. Both of them were lower. He said one guy he just didn't trust. He was around $325. Another guy seemed reasonable, but he wanted him to send pictures and he was going to count how many windows he had, and it was beginning to be too confusing. And so he's like, look, I just need to get this done. I need to get it on the calendar. I don't want to deal with it anymore. I asked him 2 questions. How many square feet is the home? And that was the main thing. I don't even remember what else I asked him. That was the main thing I needed, and I gave him a price. Oh, are you doing the inside and outside or outside only? That was the 2 questions. So I gave him a price right away, $125 more than the next competitive price guy. I got the job over the 2 cheaper guys because I was efficient and I was confident. I knew my pricing and I didn't flinch. He didn't try to haggle me. He knew the other guys were cheaper, but he went with me. And so when you can be efficient on the phone like that, they're trying to make a decision really quickly. If you can get them to just say, okay, I'll just do it. It's easy. Get it off of the table for them. Make it stress-free for them. They'll pay the $100 extra just so they don't have to deal with you coming and counting everything or going outside and taking a picture of each window and trying to figure it out. Charge a premium for the first-time service, and then if you realize, hey, I did that job really quickly. I told them $600, but I did it in 3.5, 4 hours. You can always give them a price if you feel bad, a discount if you feel bad. I prefer charge the full price the first time, but then the second time say, hey, next time we can do it cleaner. This was the first time clean, and so the next time will be more efficient and faster. We know your house now. We're going to be able to knock $100 off the price next time. You're still going to be making great money, $125 an hour. And they're going to feel like very special because they're getting a better deal, and they trust you because you're not going to gouge them. You're willing to make a sacrifice on the price to keep them happy, and you're going to build in a customer who's going to book you every 3, 6, 12 months, whatever it is, but they're going to come back and they're going to tell their friends about you. So remember that they remember how you made them feel. If you get there and you have to change the price, there's a chance you're going to make them feel ripped off. So be very careful with your approach to them. You don't want to make them feel like you think they were trying to gouge you, or that they were trying to get a deal from you and game the system. If you make them feel sleazy, they're going to remember that when they see your name the next time, and like, oh, I'm embarrassed. I don't want to reach out to the guy. I'm going to just try fresh with a new person. Now I know how many windows I have, and I'll tell them, and they'll be able to give me a price, and you're going to lose that customer. So try to make them feel comfortable, like they are under control. Like, that's why you give them multiple options. They're under control, and it's stress-free. They don't have to think too hard about things. But also that they can trust that you know what's happening. I like to guarantee the price. I say, look, my price is accurate 90% of the time. If you're not a new construction build, if you're not a custom home with like 50 more windows than an average home, then your price is going to be accurate. If I have to tweak it all, I'll usually make it lower. I like to say that over the phone, especially because then they're comfortable. They're worried that you're going to get there and be like, oh, look, there's a lot more than we expected. We're going to have to charge you an extra $100. They just like to know the price isn't going to be more, significantly more. If it's $25 more, they're going to be fine with that. But I usually just charge higher and I make more. And then I can give them a discount if it makes me feel better. So anyways, any other questions about pricing, about quoting, about confidence, just let me know in the comments. But again, Responsibid is the online booking system. It makes it so that you can book online or over the phone and have follow-up emails if they haven't booked yet, or after the work, more follow-up emails and text messages to remind them to book again. So I do give discounts for repeat business. 20% within the next 3 months, 10% 6 months later, normal price a year later. You guys take care.